Hello everybody, it's BDF44. So I just made a video about Carmelo Anthony and some more thoughts came to mind. When you reach the age that Carmelo Anthony is, around that era, and you've been a superstar, GMs don't want to deal with you because of GMs and ownership and everybody in the organization. They would rather not deal with you if you're going to hold on to that superstar mentality. It seems to me that when a superstar ages, their value decreases more so than a role player's value decreases when they get older. Dramatically, because when you think about the type of team you want to put together and you're trying to put together a basketball team, or any type of sport for that matter, with stardom comes a certain level of entitlement, certain level of expectations from yourself that can bring about a certain unhappiness or depression from some players who have to really adjust to their bodies changing a great deal. It can bring the mood down depending on the personality, depending on how much they've had success, depending on how far they've fallen. Sometimes it's just easier to take a guy who's been a role player as he ages. Like the superstar has a demand as a young player and as a prime player. But as the league starts to bring in new youth, it's the guys who have accepted their roles over time that are trusted. A guy like Marcus Morris is going to probably have more opportunities than a guy like Carmelo Anthony because of it in today's NBA. Now, I'm not saying Marcus Morris is as old as Carmelo Anthony, but I look at them and I say the skill set, what they bring to the table. When you're trying to envision what your team should look like, obviously the guy who's a better player overall, you would think would be the player that you take. But the reality is, Carmelo Anthony can't get the type of contract that Marcus Morris got. Is anybody confused about which player is greater in this league? No. And I think that kind of alludes to the point that I'm making. It's superstars, they have these mentalities. It's the same thing with wide receivers in the NFL. When you have a certain mentality, or if you are perceived to have a certain type of mentality of entitlement, of I'm bigger than, that kind of thing, even if it isn't true, but if you're perceived that way, it's going to be difficult for you to age in the league unless you somewhere along the line play ball. In other words, accept roles. Hint out that you're ready to take a back seat to a younger star. That kind of stuff will keep you around. Carmelo Anthony's situation, to me, it seems like something that I didn't allude to was the Jeremy Lin situation and how he handled Jeremy Lin's success. It was reported, who knows what the truth is, but it was reported that it didn't go so hot. There was jealousy going on there, that there was resentment going on there, that there was, being that Carmelo Anthony was injured at the time that Linsanity was going on, basically Carmelo Anthony was more or less on the side of Jeremy Lin is just here for right now. When I get back, he better move out the way, that kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff that would allude to people wanting to not give you a chance as you start to age. Because what happens is they start envisioning you creating problems for other guys as the team becomes younger. And if you're brought into a team that's young, it's just like you're going to do that to everybody. It's envisioned that you're going to create problems for everyone, especially if they happen to pop. So it's like, when you try to envision whether or not a guy's going to fit on a team, you'd just rather have a guy who's a role player, especially as he gets older, unless the star can do exactly what he was able to do back in the day. But if the star can't still do what he's been doing, if you're going to get a much lesser version, then you're not going to want to deal with the ego. You're not going to want to deal with the personality. That's what's going on with Chris Paul in some ways, too. Because he's not the same player that he was, but he's still the same person that he's been, according to the reports that I've heard. Who knows? Again. But it's about perception. It doesn't necessarily mean that these things are true. It just means that that's what has happened. The narrative has been that about you. And because of it, as you age, they don't think they can manage you. They don't want to deal with you. They may have resentment based upon some things that happened in the past, and now they have no interest in you. So I guess what I'm saying is that young players in the league right now have to learn from the mistakes of older players. Or the league is changing and ownership is not going to have the same type of acceptance of their usage of power. They're still going to have the power because they're ownership, but it's going to be looked at away. It's going to be looked at as negative if they yield that power the same way they have in the past. It's going to be one way or another. Either ownership, the culture of ownership is going to change, or players are going to have to accept that this is the norm as well over here. You know, that if you act like a diva in the NBA, then all your opportunities are not going to be as plentiful as you age. So it's a fork in the road thing as far as I can see. It can go either way, but what I hope to see happen is that somewhere along the lines there's a medium there, that ownership treats the players with respect and in every way, shape, and form, while still allowing them to be themselves, still allowing them to have as much power as they can yield, and then allowing them to move around as they're supposed to, you know, and not be stuck to contracts on bad teams. I'd like to see that improve, and I'd also like to see players do a better job at just overall taking care of their image, their bodies, and learning how to attack their weaknesses on the court so that they can be more effective in their aging process. And yeah, that's what I got to say. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. BDF coming at you with another one, and I'm going to continue my workout. Peace. Thanks for watching.